I don't believe in ghosts, not in the way people usually think of them. No chains rattling in the attic, no pale women in white standing at the edge of the bed. I used to laugh at haunted house stories, thinking them just that, stories. But something changed when I came to Wraithmoor Hollow. And now, when the nights are quiet and the shadows stretch too long, I sometimes hear her footsteps again. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you what happened, start to finish. Maybe by the end, you'll understand why I left everything behind. It started with a letter, a real one, with thick paper and a wax seal, delivered to my apartment in London by hand. That alone was odd. Who sends handwritten letters anymore? The handwriting was elegant but sharp, like it had been penned by someone with a practiced, impatient hand. Mr. Elliot Harrow, you are the final, living descendant of the Wraithmoor line. The estate is yours to claim, along with its assets and responsibilities. You are requested to appear in person at the property within 30 days of this notice. Enclosed is the deed, the key, and a request. Come alone. No signature. Just a coat of arms at the bottom. A stag pierced by a thorned branch. At first I thought it was a mistake. I didn't have any family left. Not that I knew of. My parents died when I was young, and I was raised by foster families who never mentioned anything about long-lost estates or noble bloodlines. But the letter was addressed to me, and inside the envelope was a real deed. Legal, official, signed. It listed me as heir to Wraithmoor Hollow, an old estate in the north of Yorkshire. I didn't tell anyone I was going. I was between jobs, between relationships, between versions of myself, and something about the whole thing tugged at a place deep in my chest I didn't know was still soft. Curiosity is a powerful thing, more powerful than fear. So I packed a bag, rented a car, and drove north. The directions led me deep into the countryside, through miles of forest and winding hills. The sky turned a shade of grey I didn't know existed. Rain started and stopped without warning. By the time I reached the gates of Wraithmoor Hollow, the light had all but disappeared, though my phone insisted it was only 4 in the afternoon. The iron gates creaked open when I touched them, revealing a long drive choked with weeds and curling roots. The manor stood at the end like something pulled from a nightmare, tall and crooked with dark windows that looked more like open wounds than glass. Ivy had claimed most of its stone, and several upper-storey shutters banged slowly in the wind. I should have turned around then. I should have laughed, called it a prank, and driven back to my little flat in the city. But something held me there, like a thread tied around my ribs. The front door opened with a groan, so loud it echoed across the grounds. Inside, the air was thick with dust, and the smell of something sweet and rotting, like dried flowers left too long in water. The foyer was wide and cold, with a twin staircase wrapping up both sides like arms, and in the centre of the floor was a chair. Just a chair, old, wooden, facing the door as if someone had been waiting for me. I called out, "Hello?" But the house didn't answer. No birds, no wind, not even the groaning of old pipes. Just silence. I left my bag in the front hall and wandered from room to room. The library was immense, ceiling so high I could barely see it, lined with shelves that curved like ribs. Every book coated in dust, every chair turned to face away from the door. The parlour still had a fire laid, like someone had planned to light it that morning. A single teacup rested on the mantel, filled with grey water. The dining room table was set for 2, but no one was there. As night crept in, I climbed the stairs and chose a bedroom at the far end of the hall. It was cleaner than the others, almost untouched. The bed was made, the curtains drawn. On the nightstand sat a photograph in a cracked frame, a woman with long hair and hollow eyes, standing beside a man whose face had been scratched out. That night, the dreams began. At first, they were just flickers. A figure at the edge of the woods, a door slamming shut behind me, a whisper that wasn't quite a word, but they grew stronger each night, more vivid, more insistent. I'd wake with mud on my boots, with scratches on my arms. Once, with the taste of iron in my mouth, I started seeing her in the mirrors, always just behind me, never moving, never blinking. Her face was pale, almost blue, her eyes black as pitch. Her mouth hung slightly open like she'd forgotten how to close it. The first time I saw her, I turned so fast I nearly fell. But the room behind me was empty. The second time, I heard her speak. One word: stay. I tried to leave the next morning. I truly did. But when I reached the gate, the road beyond had vanished. Fog pressed against the trees like a wall. My phone had no signal. The GPS spun endlessly. I even walked, followed the road back the way I came. But after 2 hours, I found myself standing in front of the manor again, like it had never let me go. That night, I found the door in the floor, hidden beneath a rug in the library, a trapdoor, sealed with iron latches. I don't know why I opened it. I wish I hadn't. But something was pulling me deeper and deeper into the roots of the place. The stairs beneath led to a chamber with no windows, no lights. The air was colder than death, thick with the scent of earth and decay. And in the centre of the room, resting on a stone pedestal, was a book, bound in leather that pulsed slightly beneath my fingers. Inside were records, written by a man named Elias Wraithmoor, my ancestor. He'd built the house in 1823, not as a home, but as a sanctuary, for grief, for pain. After the death of his wife and child, he'd begun studying other ways to reach them, ways that required silence, solitude, sacrifice. He wrote of mirrors that opened into other realms, of shadows that watched from the corners of the room, of voices that came only in dreams, promising return at a cost. The final pages were written in blood. I have seen her, but she is not mine, not anymore. She wears her sorrow like a mask and follows me through the walls. The house is hers now, and it must never be empty. I dropped the book. When I turned, she was there, standing at the top of the stairs, head tilted, eyes wide, silent. I ran. I don't remember reaching my room. I don't remember locking the door. I don't even remember falling asleep. Only the dream. She sat beside me on the bed, reached out with a hand so cold it burned, and whispered, "Stay." When I woke, my door was open, and the chair from the foyer was in the centre of my room, facing me. I don't know how long I've been here now. Days? Weeks? Time doesn't work right in Wraithmoor Hollow. Sometimes I hear footsteps in the attic. Sometimes I hear my own voice coming from the cellar, calling up to me. Sometimes I see her face in the fire, but I've stopped trying to leave, because the truth is, I don't think I ever really came here. I think I was always here. I think I died on the road, or in my sleep, or maybe in some way I can't understand. I was always part of this place, just like you are now. You shouldn't have listened this far. You shouldn't have opened the door, because now the house knows your name too, and she's waiting.